Okay guys, we are streaming. Welcome to this week's teaching raid. Coming to you live from Sarlona. Me and my guild, the High Lords of Malkier, for 5 years now have been hosting teaching raids for new players where we are showing them how these raids work in a very low stress learning environment where we focus on teaching them the mechanics of the raid, teaching them as much about the raid as we can, but we're not trying to make them experts in the raid. We're just trying to give them a basic level of competency so that they have a decent idea of how the raid works. They feel comfortable maybe going into a pug and understanding what's going on, and sometimes the folks we get in are brand new to the game or new to the raiding scene. Sometimes we get longtime veterans that just have been avoiding raiding for whatever reason. People avoid raids for a variety of reasons. They may be intimidated by them. They may have been turned off by bad experiences. They may feel like their skills or gear or their builds aren't good enough. And these are all the kinds of people that we're reaching out to with these events. So if you happen to be on Sarlona, I always post details for the events, which we do every Saturday night, usually every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, throughout the winter and spring. And we do different raids every week. And it's been a lot of fun. Like I said, it's our fifth year doing it. And we've met tons of people along the way. Even brought in some people into the guild. Just like 3 or 4 people over the years that had joined a bunch of our teaching raids, and we got to know them, and they started raiding with us regularly, and then eventually just made sense to bring them right into the guild. Like my guildie Wooter here, who is here now helping out. And it was 2 years ago, during our 2016 teaching raid series, that she joined every one of our teaching raids. And we got to know her, and then we started inviting her to our regular guild raids, and then we were like, we need to just bring her aboard. Alright, I'm going to take a few minutes to get the folks that are signed up for the event in here. And so if you're watching the live stream, you got probably 5 minutes or so until the action gets started. I will be monitoring chat. If there are any questions along the way, I know there are going to be people from other servers watching. So if you have any questions, I'll be monitoring the chat. My attention will be mainly focused on the folks here, teaching the raid to them, but I'm going to be watching and answering questions when I can to the folks watching the live stream. Hey, Lacertus, welcome.
Thanks.
Hey, Lion Fear, welcome.
Thank you.
Hey, dude, thanks for coming. No problem, man. We're just starting to get formed up. Welcome. Got one more sign up to get in here. be along in just a sec. Hey, quick, welcome. Okay, guys, we're going to get started here in just a couple of minutes. There is at least one person here who's never joined one of our teaching rate events before. So, and we just had 3 people signed up ahead of time, so I posted an LFM like 15 minutes ago, and one person joined because of the LFM. So, but in case you're not aware, these teaching rate events are something that we do every week during the winter and spring. We do different raids every week, and I always post details in the Sarlona forum. But who here has never joined one of our teaching raid events before? And I also want to know who has never done Defiler of the Just before, or who has maybe done it once or twice. Sometimes we get folks that are totally new. Sometimes we get folks that have done it a few times but are still learning. And I also want to make sure that everybody knows that we are live streaming this event. So there are folks from other servers watching and learning with us. So won't be more. There's only 10 people watching right now, and there won't be more than about 25 or 30 watching at any given time. But happy to have everybody, and this is going to be like, we're just going to do it on normal, so it's a nice low stress learning environment, teaching you all the mechanics of the raid. If you have any questions at any part of the raid, you're not sure what you're supposed to be doing, you're lost, any questions at all, you just want more explanation, just chime in at any time. Even feel free to interrupt me, otherwise I'm just going to keep going. We are, like I said, we are just going to do normal, so if you need to pause your bravery bonus, go ahead and do that now. I'm quite sure that this group could handle hard, for example, but this raid is historically notoriously laggy, and in case we hit some lag or something, I don't want it to turn into a stressful event. Like I said, we're just trying to really focus on showing you guys how it works. And but go ahead and pause your bravery bonuses if you need to. And I also want to make sure that like 8 of the folks here are my guildies that are here just to help out, to help make sure it's a smooth event, and then we have 4 people that are here that are new to or still learning the raid. Go ahead and step in, folks. There are mobs in this first room, so that there's a chance that they can get aggroed on the group right away, and that's something that's important to be aware of if you join a pug. Like, you could step in and you could be surrounded by mobs instantly, and if you're doing a higher difficulty and maybe you're a little bit squishier, like I've seen it where like people just step in and get killed right away. So something to be aware of. Welcome to the folks just tuning into the live stream. If you have any questions along the way, I will be monitoring the chat. My attention is going to be focused here on the folks here in the raid, but we'll be glancing over at the chat and trying to answer questions. And I'd love to hear, like, what server you're from, if you are new to this raid and you're still learning. Yeah, they actually changed the layout a little bit of the main portion of the raid. Because when it first came out, it was so laggy. In fact, we don't even do elite in our guild runs of it because it just, every time we've tried it, it's lag death. I've heard that if you go under, like with less people, like maybe like 8 or 10 people, it's not as bad, but I haven't tried that. Okay, we're all here. Last second buffs. So this first part is just trash, and so we can just step forward and just clear this room out. And then we're going to go up here, and there's going to be some tieflings trying to shoot us with some ballistas. And the fun part here is once you kill the tieflings, you can actually operate the ballistas and shoot your friends as they're coming through the door. So if you like to troll your guild mates or something, you can just you can do that. For this next part, this is the lockout point of the raid, by the way. Right here, there's going to be a gate that comes up once we're all past this. So you want to make sure that that not everybody goes past this point until everybody is in the raid. And the gate won't go up until everybody who's in the raid is past it. Now, there's a bunch of Shavroth blades floating around the room. But there is a graphics bug that happens to me maybe 10% of the time I do this raid, and I know there are a lot of other people who said they've seen it, or that happens to them, where they can't see the blades. So is there anybody right now who can't see, 8 sets of blades swirling around in front of us in the next room? Okay. Just to let you know, and it's not, it's inconsistent. Like I said, it happens to me about 10% of the time. So it's something to be aware of, that they are there. Sometimes they're just invisible for whatever reason, you can't see them. So what's going to happen here is once we all get past this gate, the gate will come up and we'll be ambushed by a bunch of mobs. There's going to be hellhounds and devils, and there's going to be a pit fiend. And this particular room is like notoriously laggy. Like sometimes just absolute standstill lag, and just hope you're alive when it stops. But what we're going to do is, because of the blades are moving around, they're moving around in a set pattern, and there's actually a little safe lane about a body length away from the gate on the other side. On the other side of the column in front of us, there's another gate, and about a body length away from that gate, there's a safe lane where we're going to gather, and we won't get hit by the blades, and we're all just going to pile up there and just keep each other healed and beat down the mobs that come to us. Before we do that, I'm going to explain how the main part of the raid works too. So this first part is just trash and the little ambush room, and then the main part of the raid, which is pretty much the rest of the raid, there's like just a really quick end fight after that, is it's like a big zone, big rectangular zone, and I'm going to be assigning everybody to a corner, and you're like north, northeast, northwest, southeast, and southwest, 3-person teams. And the main part of the raid, and that part will last about 15 minutes, is going to be various waves of different kinds of mobs that spawn, and we have to kill them quickly. This raid is all about, after this first part, is all about killing mobs, is finding them and killing them as fast as possible. There are 2 failure conditions in which will just shut you right out of the raid. It'll just toss you right out and fail the raid. And both of them are, if you don't kill mobs fast enough. And so after we get past the ambush room and the next gate comes down, there's going to be 2 of these like Abishai executioners. We're going to kill them as fast as possible, and then we're all going to go to our corners, which I still need to type in those corner assignments. And we're going to hang out in our corners waiting for the different mobs to spawn. There's going to be waves of Abishai executioners that will spawn in 2 groups of 2. And they'll sort of spawn in somewhat random locations. They're actually fixed locations, but there's the ones that they appear at is random. So the reason why we put people in the corners is because that way we have as much of the zone covered as possible. So that when the Abishai executioners spawn, the people in the corners can call out, like if they see them in their corner, and then the others can go and help them. Instead of just people running around everywhere hoping that somebody finds them. Which, if you join a pug, is more than likely what's going to happen, is that they're just going to be running all everywhere, hoping that enough people know what they're doing, and find the executioners and kill them in time. But, like I said, we're going to be in the corners. Everybody's going to have a corner assignment and be responsible for covering that corner. And so we're going to get waves of Abishai executioners. We're going to call out where they are, kill them as fast as possible. In between the waves of Abishai executioners are going to be reinforcements that spawn from these rooms that have portals in them at the north and south end of the zone. And the reinforcements have to be killed as fast as possible, just like the executioners. If at any time there are 12 or more reinforcements in the zone, the raid will just fail, shoot your raid out. So you have to beat them down really quickly. The Abishai executioners, when they spawn, there's going to be a little timer that appears in the upper right hand corner in the quest box. It's like 1 minute and 20 seconds maybe. And if we don't kill the Abishai executioners in that time, then we lose an Archon. And if we lose 5 Archons, then the raid fails. And so thematically what's going on is there's like Archons and Abishai battling it out in the skies above us. And like Archons are falling out of the sky, and they're actually appearing on the ground in the raid, and you'll see them. There'll be beams of light, and there'll be an Archon. It's like the executioners are sent to finish them off. That's why we have to kill them quickly. If we don't kill the executioners quickly, they finish off the Archons. We lose 5 Archons. The raid auto fails. So the 2 failure modes are we lose 5 Archons, or there are 12 or more reinforcements in the zone. Either one of those conditions happens, we auto fail. So like I said, you got to kill stuff as fast as possible, and because the Abishai executioners spawn in basically random locations, you have to find them as fast as possible and then kill them as fast as possible. So you can alternate between waves of executioners and reinforcements, and there'll be about maybe 8 waves of each, and then after that we'll go to the end fight. And there'll be a break between the main portion and the end fight, and I'll be able to explain how the end fight works. I'm going to take a moment to assign everybody their corner assignments, and if anybody has any questions up to this point, I know there's a lot of information. I'm going to explain it again once we get in there, but I'm going to type in the corner assignments now. Hey David, it's your first time doing Defiler of the Just. Hopefully you'll learn it along with us, and if you have any questions, let me know. Okay, in the northeast corner is going to be me, Lion Fear, and Chesney. Sorry, I think I misspelled your name. Northwest will be Woodward, DJ Grub, and Lacertus. Southeast corner is going to be Lemuria, Mickey, Quickilla. And the southwest corner is going to be Pokemon, LPR, and Menin. So you're going to be in the corner with some High Lords. We run this raid all the time, so just stay with the High Lords in your corner. You're going to be just fine. So the north teams will help each other, like when executioners are in the northeast corner, for example. The northwest corner can go over there and help them, and the same for the south teams. But the north teams will stay north, and the south teams will stay south unless there's some sort of emergency, like one side wipes or something that shouldn't happen on normal. But you never know if you get a terrible lag spike or something. Any questions before we get started? I'm gonna rebuff myself. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do our best to avoid the blades and try to get over to the other side where there is the gate. And we're going to be about a body length away from it. A couple body lengths. We're just going to pile up here. This is a safe lane. The blades won't hurt us here. And with all the aura healing and the temporary hit points and stuff, we should be alright. But if anybody dies, we'll just raise you. There's no death timer here. Like I said, this part is notoriously laggy. It's been pretty good lately, though. So there's probably a couple mobs around the other side. I'll bring them over. Sometimes they don't aggro on us. The ones on the other side of the beam, they're coming over now. Alright, there's going to be 2 executioners here. We need to kill them before we go to our corners. See how there's an Archon at the bottom of that beam of light right there? You'll be able to see those beams of light from way across the zone. And that'll tell you, the executioners spawn near those beams of light. Okay, everybody go to your corner. And check to see if there are reinforcements in your portal room on the way. The reinforcements are in the north. And we're going to fight reinforcements.
Someone came to the door. Which way do I go?
You are in the southeast corner.
Okay, so just in the next room.
And we're going to fight reinforcements in front of the portals. That's just a rallying point. There's no other special reason. Just so, and people fighting mobs in 3 different places in the room. It's just that way casters know where to lay down the AoEs, and everybody knows where to drag the mobs. So we're going to wait on our corners on the ramp, and we're going to stay off the floors, though. When you see executioners, just pull them onto the ramp. Don't fight them on the floor because there are the Shavroth blades whirling around, and on higher difficulties, they can tear you up pretty quickly. We just got, okay, so my team go over to the northwest. We just got a message that said another Archon has fallen. That tells you that executioners have spawned. Just come over here and help the northwest team. The executioners are dead, so now we go back to our corner. And then if you look in the upper right hand corner, you'll see there's that timer. There's 43 seconds left, and it just disappeared. So that's an indication that all the reinforcements are dead. Or all the executioners, excuse me. And then there you can also see now it says reinforcements 210. That'll tell you how many there are in the zone. Now the failure condition, it says limit the devil reinforcements to 15. That it used to be 15 when this raid first came out, but they lowered it to 12 because they lowered the number of reinforcements that spawn at a time. It used to be waves of 5 or 10, but now it's waves of 4 or 8. And they just didn't update the text. So this is a hurry up and wait kind of a raid. Just stand around waiting for executioners to spawn, find them, kill them quickly, and in between the executioner waves, we're going to kill reinforcements that will spawn either in the north or south or sometimes both. It's always groups of 4 reinforcements. If it's 8, it'll be groups of 4 on each end. Northwest again. Reinforcements north, remember, fight him in front of the portal. Now, this is an important point, that the abstract executioners have an extremely short leash, and they need to basically be fought at the bottom of the ramp nearest wherever they spawn. You take them any further than that, and they're going to white dot out, and then their health is going to reset, and you're losing precious time, because like I said, you know, you got to kill them quickly. So, for example, the ones that spawn in these corners here, if you were to even drag them up to the top of the ramp up here, like where the reinforcement room is, they would white dot out right here. That's how short their leash is. Nothing else in this raid has a short leash. The reinforcements, for example, can be pulled anywhere in the zone. Yeah, that's a good point. So what Punkyman just said is...
Northwest.
Northwest again. Watch the Archon at the bottom of the beam of light. It'll get up and fly away when both of the executioners have been killed. So just watch it over there at the bottom on the right and the bottom of the light beam. You see it got up, and it'll fly away. It won't do that unless they're both dead. Abishai can spawn in the center parts too, which you can generally see from your corners. Like if you guys are down here a little bit further where I am, you can sort of look out into the center. And I'm going to show you something over here. Don't stay there, I just want to show you. Look at that hitching, that's ridiculous. Like right here where I'm standing, guys, there can be an Abishai that spawns right here. And you want to look right here before you were to abandon your corner. Northeast. So we just pull them to the bottom of the ramp and fight them right here off the floor away from the blades.
North center.
Reinforcements
Portal.
north. Fight him in front of the portal. I still have energy sheath twisted in from doing RSO last night. It's my new sentient weapon. I just got it on Thursday night. The Dusk Battle Axe, which has great light spell power, but I'm not really that impressed with it for this build. I need to do a video talking about it more though. Now is not really the time. Does not look very impressive. It's a very plain looking axe. Looks like you're gonna go split some logs. So it's all this part is just executioners and reinforcements. Like I said, about 8 or 10 waves of each, and then you do an end fight. Northeast.
Southeast.
And the executioners, other than the first group of 2 that when we first got here, it's always going to be 2 groups of 2.
Reinforcements north.
They do. That's a good question. They don't come up on the ramp. That's why we stay off the floor. The blades will stay on the floor. Earlier, my guildie was saying how they changed the layout a bit to try to reduce the lag. That center part, northeast, actually northeast center. So like that guy there, my crew, we don't even want to pull that guy over to our corner. We want to bring him to this ramp over here, because if we were to take him to our corner, he would white dot out. That's how short the leash is. Now, for those of you watching the live stream, the center part, it used to be all open, and there were like these big statues of horned devils, and it was kind of cool looking. I got some screenshots of it back in the day, and some of my early videos of this, I think. But they closed it all in. Actually, I think they didn't close it in because of the lag. I think they closed that part in because range tunes were just perching on top of the statues, and they were, because it was so open, they were able to hit like most mobs just by standing in the middle. It's like all this stuff, none of these walls in that middle, none of it was there. And I don't think the executioners had leashes way back then.
Southeast.
Quick, it's northeast. They're the same Shavrath blades as in any other quest or raid. They don't have any special abilities. Reinforcements both sides. Notice it says reinforcements 8 in the quest box, so we know there are 4 at each end. Bring them in front of the portal. In a big pile. As they said earlier, if you join a pug, it's probably just going to be people running around hoping that there are enough people that know what's going on to find the executioners, kill them quickly, etc., etc. Don't expect to ever see this corner method used again, like in a pug, but I don't know. I don't know what pugs are doing. You don't see this raid pugged out a whole lot anymore. Most of the raid loot is outdated, but there are some nice items still. Like the boots are pretty nice. They're northeast. Those are still probably the best freedom of movement boots in the game. But they have a little competition with the legendary Flayfoot Greaves. I still think the Boot of Blessed Travels are better, though. Reinforcements both
North
sides.
portal. South portal.
Yeah, the Orcish Privateer boots are real nice for level 24. I wear those till I get these. Are there any other items that come from here that are particularly nice still by today's standards? See, when this raid came out, it was like the first time there were like plus 12 stat items, and it was just like, I remember like I wanted to change out half my gear because the loot was so awesome at the time, but most of it hasn't stood the test of time. The Sightless is a good example. When Sightless came out, you know, it was Con 12 and Sheltering 35, which was also the highest. So that helmet was so amazing at the time, but you know, now you can get random gen trash that's better than that. But I wore Sightless for a couple years on most of my tunes. I think monks still like the goggles.
North.
Okay, everybody north. Okay, the High Lords can go ahead and hang out at the gate for the end fight, but I want all the new folks to stay here with me because I want to give you just a little tour of the zone so you can see each corner and just point out a couple important things. So I want all the new folks to come down to the northeast corner with me. Some of you weren't in my corner and I wasn't able to, you know, show you some things. So hopefully you were staying on your ramp, you know, right about here and fighting the mobs here if they appeared in your corner. But come out here, and I want to show you that, like, for example, you can get Abishai Executioners that spawn, like, in this little crevice here. So, you know, before you leave your corner, make sure you look there, and you can see it from the corner, as long as you're near the bottom of the ramp. And the Executioners can even spawn, like, out here, come out to the side. This is when, like, even when I'm doing guild runs, sometimes we lose track of them, when the Executioners are, like, spawn, like, back in here. They don't seem to spawn back in here very often, but when they do, it's like the last place people think to check. You can follow me back here to the center too. We didn't get a lot of them spawning in the center. They kept spawning in the corners, but they can also spawn up here and down here, like down here where I am, and kind of over to the side over here too. And I just want you to see, like, that all the corners are the same. Just follow me. I'm just going to take you around the whole zone just so you can see it. It's the same in every corner. And the south portal room is the same as the north portal room. And keep going in a big circle. And like I said, you know, you want to fight Executioners at the bottom of the ramp nearest where they spawn. So they spawn in this corner here. Or if you see them out in the middle, like out in here, if they spawn out in here, you'd want to fight them at the bottom of this ramp here. But you wouldn't want to pull them over. Like if you saw them spawn here, you wouldn't want to pull them over to the corner because they'll wipe that out from right here. You know, or if they spawn up here in the middle, you can just fight them here in the middle. And sometimes it'll make sense, like if you have a lower DPS crew or a slower crew, it might make sense to actually drag the reinforcements out to where the Executioners are and just fight it all together. Because the reinforcements can be pulled anywhere, but the Executioners have to basically stay where they spawn. But do you guys have any questions about this main part of the raid before we go do the end fight? And any of the folks watching the live stream have any questions about the raid so far? Michael, the gloves aren't bad, but there's a ring out of Slave Lords called the Spinneret, which has +2. So that's really the preferred item for casters now. But yeah, I wore those gloves for a long time. Alright, well, we're going to go to the end fight around this way. If you were to encounter any trash, you could just drag it up here. And don't go past the gate. Nice dance party, guys. There's a gate here that will come up once we get past it, and after maybe about 30 seconds. I'm not sure if it's timed or if it's after the worm is killed. But the gate will come up, and you'll be locked out until the end fight is over. The gate will come down. But that first gate, back at the start, never comes down, so you never want to detour in this raid, that you will get locked out of it. So this end fight is going to be really, really quick. It should be over in less than a minute. If this end fight goes more than a minute, it's probably going to be extremely problematic, and I'm going to show you why. Hey Bobby, welcome to the live stream. So what's going to happen is we're going to step through here, and there's going to be a big purple worm that appears in the middle, and we're going to beat it down. We should be able to beat it down pretty quickly. And then the boss, and Irenes, who's going to appear over by the cave across from us, after about 30 seconds, she will activate. We want to try to kill the worm as fast as possible, and just so that we don't have to deal with the worm while we're fighting her. So kill the worm really quick, and then shoot. Then she'll be active. The worm does like a breath weapon, and there's gonna be like a green pattern on the floor. It's gonna show the direction of that breath weapon. So you want to try to stay out of it. It hits pretty hard. It's pretty painful. But if you want to experience it, I encourage you to. Now is the time. You know, this is the time to, you can experiment and see, see what it feels like. But we like to kill the worm just to get it out of the way, so we're not dealing with it when we're fighting the boss. Now, when the boss activates, most of the time we're able to kill her within about 30 seconds, and that's what you want. She's pretty easy to kill. She is, other than her special attack, there's nothing really special about her. She goes down pretty quickly. And but if she's alive for 30 seconds, she will do this AoE bombardment, which will pretty much one-shot most folks. And every 30 seconds she's alive, she will keep doing that. And what's going to happen is, if you get to that point, and if you do this with a lower DPS crew, or disorganized crew, or low DPS short-staffed crew, you're going to you might see that. And if she starts bombarding, you could have so much attrition that it can be extremely hard to recover from. And after she does the bombardment, she's going to start, like, trash is going to start spawning. There's going to be pit fiends and devils and stuff, and that gets pretty intense, especially like if she does a bombardment and only 2 people survive, and now they got a bunch of pit fiends following them around while they're trying to raise people, and by the time you get a few people up, she's bombarding again. And so, like I said, it just becomes extremely hard to recover from if you get to the point of the bombardment. So ideally, you kill her before she ever gets there. But in these teaching raids, we like to show you what happens when things go wrong. So we're going to show you that bombardment. And I also want you to know that there's a spot that you won't get hit, which is above the cave. So when we get to the boss, I want to leave her at about 10% health. Once we get her to about 10%, just stop DPS, because I want all the new folks to see that bombardment and to experience that bombardment. Just so you know what happens. Like I said, if you most groups are going to kill her quickly, but if you don't see it now, you're going to be in a group someday and you don't kill her fast enough, and you're going to be like, what the hell just happened? Well, I want you to know what happens. But you won't get hit by the bombardment if you are on top of the cave. But maybe I'll just go up there. Or is there somebody that would like to be on top of the cave? One of the High Lords that knows the deal, that can start throwing raises. Okay, DJ, thank you. So we go in, kill the worm, purple worm as fast as possible, and then we go over to the cave, wait for the boss to activate, kill the boss as fast as possible. We're only going to take her down to 10% though. But when she dies, we win. Any questions? Okay, let's do some rebuffs. And let's do it. That gate will come up. I don't know if it's timed, like I said, or if it's after the worm is killed. And it'll go back down after the raid is completed. Go ahead and kill the worm. But we're not going to kill the boss. I just want us to take the boss down to about 10% health. Don't forget to get in place, DJ. Okay, you are. I think you need to get above the main part of the cave. I'm not sure if that is a safe spot. Okay, back off the boss, please. Go ahead and back off the boss. Stop DPS. I want you guys to see this bombardment attack that she has. Let's see if I can survive it. Hey, we had quite a few people survive. And you can see a bunch of trash spawns. These are pretty serious trash mobs that spawn. You can see that killed a lot of people. Let's go ahead and kill the boss. And we win. A little bit of lag there at the end. And any one of the new folks, go ahead and help yourself to the chest. Grats on your first time. If you have any questions about any part of the raid, let me know. Otherwise, that is all. And good luck on your loots. Ultimatum drop. That's still not a bad shield that has petrification immunity on it. Mythic 2, nice. Memoriam, the trinket dropped. It's got good luck +4. I think it's the only good luck +4 item in the game, so it's still kind of neat. And a healing amp 75, that's pretty cool. I've got a ultimatum on this tune for situational use. I don't use it very often. Should be on my hotbar, but it's not. I wonder if I left it in the TR cache. I'm going to get that out. Ultimatum D113 high. DJ Grub, if nobody wants the ultimatum, I'd take it because I don't think mine's mythic. But only if nobody else wants it.
So
Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for coming out. Hi, Lords. Thanks for helping. Don't forget to turn it in and have a great night. There will be another teaching raid next week. It's actually going to be Temple of the Deathworm and Fire on Thunder Peak. I'll post details in the Sarlona forum probably Monday. But just a heads up. Thanks again for coming out. And have a great night. Don't forget to turn it in. Okay, folks watching the live stream, if there are any last questions, I'm going to monitor the chat for about 5 more minutes. So if you have any questions, I will try to answer them. But I'm going to be shutting down the live stream now. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys soon.